All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hopping on today for our new weekly team training and inspiration. I'm really excited to be starting up these calls because I think it's important to feature all the amazing things you guys are doing on your teams because you're the ones that are inspiring all of us, helping us do better. And you're also the inspiration for training topics and challenges and groups and events and all that. I mean, I get that from you guys and what you guys want and what you guys are doing and what's working on your team. So I think it's important for us to share that information with each other so that we can learn from each other and do better as a whole. But the first thing I want to say is congratulations to everyone that has gotten a stimulus bonus so far and all of you who are close, because you guys, I woke up to so many alerts in my email inbox that you guys are on fire. There's just enrollment after enrollment after enrollment, lots of you multiple, like it's crazy. You guys are on fire and you're following up like crazy. And I know that there are going to be so many more announcements tonight and tomorrow evening, because I've personally been talking with a lot of you, helping you follow up with people, recommend products to people. I have helped you guys put in some codes, like all this stuff. I've been helping a lot of you behind the scenes. And so it's exciting because I know a lot of you are just like need one more, or you've got a lot of people that you're following up with that are going to get back to you later today, all those kinds of things. And you know that follow-up is near and dear to my heart. If you've been on this team for any amount of time, you know that one of my huge passions is follow-up. I think it's really important for you to know who you need to follow up with, about what, and when it is an appropriate time to follow up with that person. And I am very passionate about organization and making sure that your follow-up is consistent and all of that, because the fortune really is in the follow-up. It's not just a cliche saying. I know Noelle referenced this last week if you were on that call, but she and I both are similar in this, but we follow up until the person tells us no or joins our team. Okay, so a no answer doesn't really matter to me if they don't respond to me. People forget, people get busy, people are not thinking about Plexus, but following up is really important. And if you are losing track of people, if you don't know who you're supposed to follow up with, if you aren't scheduling follow-ups, if you're not setting reminders, if you don't have any clear system for that, people can fall through the cracks and they'll get forgotten about. And if you're brand new and you only have like 3 or 4 people that you're following up with, sure, maybe you could commit those to memory or set a few phone reminders or something. But as you're in this business for months and years, I mean, I've been in this for 4.5 years now, I have to have people on lists or in my planner or in my phone or something, because there's no way I could keep track of that many people. I mean, you think about how many potentials you might be dealing with this month. Like if you have enrolled 2, 3, 4 people, you probably had a pool of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potentials that contributed to those few enrollments, right? So all those other people who didn't enroll, you're going to want to make sure you're following up with them about the upcoming challenge groups that are going to be going on next month, the upcoming online events that are going on, sending them samples if that's necessary, and all of that kind of thing. You want to make sure that even the people who are on the fence right now and maybe haven't committed this month or not ready for whatever reason, that when we have these trial groups, we're going to be having the 3-day health challenges and the 3-day beauty groups again next month. We're going to be having 2 online events next month. All of that, those are perfect opportunities to invite them to participate in a trial group, offer them a sample, attend an online event, all of that. And you want to make sure that you know who those people are. If they say that it's not a right time right now, you ask them, when is a great time to circle back to you? We have trial groups, we have online events, I can send you a sample, would any of those work for you, that kind of thing. So if they say, you know what, try me next month, the end of next month, awesome, write that down, the end of next month, you're checking in with them, you're inviting them to something, you're revisiting that conversation, you're connecting with them again. And if you're not doing that, then you're not going to have this growing pool of potentials to be closing like all these people are this month. I guarantee you that most of the people that all of our team are enrolling right now were not potentials that came out last week. They're people they've been talking to for months, if not years, about joining Plexus. And now it's finally a good time for people because they're thinking about immunity, they want extra money, there's great deals right now. Like all the cards are stacked for us to be enrolling lots of people right now. But these people don't just pop up out of nowhere. They're these people that you keep going and keep following up with over time, because it's going to take a lot of exposures for that person to be ready to commit. It's going to be something like 10 exposures for them to want to commit to Plexus with you. So think about that when you're following up with someone. that first contact is just the very first introduction. That is your very first date with that person. And it's going to take a lot of dates for them to want to marry you. Okay. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take them seeing testimonies and them watching videos and them reading product info and them going to an online event and maybe trying a sample and then maybe doing a challenge group and then seeing a discount for enrollment or whatever, right? Or them hitting rock bottom in their health, or them hitting rock bottom in their finances, right? So it's going to take a lot of different pieces of the puzzle to make that whole picture and have them be ready to join. So I want to stress the importance of follow-up right now, and the importance of organizing that follow-up and being prepared for that follow-up and setting aside time for that follow-up. Because if all those parts aren't going on, you can't have a rockin' end of month like all these people are right now. Like, our team is on fire. A lot of you guys, all of you guys are enrolling, you are moving the needle forward in your business, you have lists of potentials that you're following up with, that you're talking to. And it's important to not lose track of those people, and to make sure that even if they're not ready now, that you continue to follow up and invite them to things and offer them more exposures, and hopefully they'll join your team at a later date. But I just want to stress to you that work is done now, and all the new potentials that you're joining now, sure, you could be a little bit bummed out that they aren't ready to join. That's fine, but it's their decision to join. It's just your job to educate them and offer them something, but it's their job, it's their decision that is going to allow them to join our team or not. It's not yours. They're the person that is in charge of making the decision. If they're not ready, they're not ready. It's just our job to provide more exposures to them, because we know the value of these products and this opportunity. And so sure, you could be like, oh, they're not ready yet. But honestly, if you're continuing to grow your pool of potentials and you're continuing to follow up with these people and check in with these people, someone else is going to be ready. Someone else is going to be at the bottom of their bucket, ready to make a change in their health. Someone else is going to be at their breaking point. Someone else is going to need that extra income. Somebody else is going to be wanting to make a change. So continuously have this flow of potentials. Keep track of who they are, what they need, what kind of exposures you've given them so far, if it's a sample, if it's an online event, if they've done a trial group, whatever. Keep track of what that is, and then know the next time to follow up with them and when might be a better time. And if you need to connect with them in the meantime, just about their life, so they know that they are someone you care about, and they feel heard by you, and they feel like someone they can trust. That's important if you need to make those connections in between. So just that little reminder about anybody who isn't really ready right now. Huge congratulations to everybody who's growing their teams right now, because you guys are like totally rocking it. But I know there are a lot of you that have people that aren't ready yet. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how to move your team through the next couple of months, but also I want you to remember that we need to be plugging people in continuously and forming connections continuously and building relationships continuously, because just because they're not ready now doesn't mean they never will be. So that follow-up, whether it be about Plexus or not about Plexus, is extremely important, because follow-up is what's going to get your team growth down the line. If it's not right now, it's going to be a few months from now, or it could be next year. Somebody you're talking to right now could join next July of 2021, but you have no idea if that's going to be the time that they hit rock bottom and want to do something different. So make sure you keep those contacts and keep plugging them into things and keep building those relationships and keep them on your list. So I'm excited big time for the topics we have today. Some of you it's tonight, I guess. But we have so many people joining our team right now. We have so many new people, and I love it. And I love the excitement, and I love all the newness that it brings. And I love all of the recommitment to health that these people have. Because we forget sometimes when we've been in this for months and years that we all had a day one. There was a time when we were introduced to Plexus and we learned about the products, and we had to commit to making a change. We had to commit to trying something new. We had to commit to figuring it out, to troubleshooting and all that. And I think that our team does a really good job of helping people get started in a positive way. Our team does a really good job of caring for people, helping them go slowly, work through their products, tweak things, whatever. But one of the people I've seen do this the best on this team, like ever, is Corky. Corky Justis has the most consistent team. Her people stick around, and they are Plexus lifers. She is so patient with them and gets to know everything about their life and who they are and what they need and what might work for them. And I feel like she does a really good job recommending products. She does a really good job coaching them and starting the products and keeping them around and just troubleshooting with them and tweaking things, and people who've been on for a while and need to adjust something. I've watched her adapt with her people, and I want her to speak a little bit about how she helps people find success when it starts from just the potential phase. She's having the conversation and asking the questions, and then once they're enrolling, setting them up for success and keeping them around to where they're in Plexus for months and years down the line, and hopefully for life. And so I'm going to let her talk now and take it away for a little bit and give us some tips. So go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks for having me talk. I was excited when Allie asked me to do this because I do have a lot of people. A majority of them have been with me for as long as I've been on this journey. And I thought about that after you asked me to talk, Allie. And I think, first of all, for me, it probably starts with the passion I have for the products, because to be honest, I didn't want a team when I started. And for a long time, I didn't want a team. Allie will tell you all about that someday. But I think that's part of it. The other thing I really thought about was, for me, when I look at it and really break it down, it's a layering process. And it starts from the very beginning of a post I make on my feed. And from that moment on, you're building relationships with these people. And, you know, we've all heard it. You got to build relationships. You got to be authentic, be yourself, you know. But more than that, I think it starts with being open and building that trust with them. People need to feel cared about, and they want to trust that it's real. And so I think that's it. Like, if someone comments on a post I make, I, of course, comment right back. You know, some of the stuff, you guys, it's just gonna be stuff you do. So, I mean, I'm not giving you like the, oh, I'm remarkable kind of things. These are just basic, but it really is key. And then if it's something that I feel on my heart, I can really help them with Plexus, I'll take it to a private message. And I think that's really key, because early on, I used to kind of try and do that in the public forum, and that's just awkward. It's awkward for me, it's awkward for them. So the private message, again, builds that layering process for them. I think it's important because in this day and age, people are all busy. And I think when you do that, it shows that you took time and you cared about them. And that's a big deal for people. In saying that, caring for people, I heard something years ago that has just always stuck with me. And you may have heard it, you may not, but I love the saying. It is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's so true. I mean, we could know every single ingredient in every single product and spill that out to them, but they're not going to care one little bit if they don't feel like you care about their problem. So I feel like that's really key. So Allie asked me, like, what kind of questions I ask. And so that's hard because everybody's an individual, but there are some key things that, you know, you kind of want to do with everybody. And I love the chart. You know, we all have the graphic chart, right? I love that. And that's probably a really consistent key for me, because I feel like that gives you their one thing. And what I mean by that is the one thing that they'll tell you is wrong. Now, let's be real. We all know there's way more than one thing going on. So that chart gives you the ability to get all the clues and all the information that you need to work with them. So how I normally do that is after, you know, I've talked with them a while, we've built that relationship, and now we're talking about their health issue or Plexus, I'll just simply, I used to say, can I? And then that gave them the opportunity to say no, so I don't do that anymore. I simply say, I'd love to send you this graphic, and I just want you really quick to go through and just circle all of them that apply to you, and then get it back to me real quick. And then, so it makes it seem like it's no big deal. You know, if it's like, oh God, I gotta go through a chart, you know, just make it simple. Once I got that back, now, whether it's one thing, 10, or the whole chart, I'm like, okay, I know what I can help this person with. So here's where the next part comes in, time. Now, we've all heard all the little things about time, right? And the one thing I want to say to you about time is that if you are trying to work Plexus as a business, part of your job description is it's going to take time. You know, we can sugarcoat and say, oh, you can do it in 15 minutes, and you can when you have to, but you're going to have to take time to work with these people to get that layering process happening with them. So what I like to do is take that chart and then literally take everything they have going on and find the product that's going to fix that. And then I go back to them and tell them why and how. And then I say, would you like to know, you know, actually before I ask it, you know, what if they'd like to know what products I'd recommend in the perfect world for them. And then go through and give them, and you want to give them that reason because they need to know the benefit to them. I mean, honestly, if they can't see the benefit, they won't find the value. So that's really important. There's also something I do that, you know, Allie may say, oh God, don't do that. But one thing that I honestly do, and I didn't do it at first, and I've had people come in who didn't really stick with it or give it a chance, and that's where this came from. And it's kind of backwards thinking probably, and you can take it or leave it, but I literally say to people, I really want you to make a commitment to yourself for the next 60 to 90 days, and I will be there and help you through it. But if you aren't willing to do that, it's probably not the right time for you, and I don't want you to sign with me right now. And people, people are almost shocked by that because they're used to people trying to do the hard sell. And that's not what it's about. Again, it's about that relationship and caring for them. And for me, that's what I always want my people to know. I want them to know from my heart, I truly care and I want to help them fix their problem because I know it can fix it because it fixed it for me. So time, think about this, it's the one thing you can never get back. We all have the same 24 hours, and then you can either spend or invest your time. So think about making that investment in time for you and them. So make it valuable for you that you're putting that time in, and valuable for them that they took the time to listen to you. I think that's just really important. Even when you're, calling them or texting, whatever it is, make it a valuable thing that you're not wasting their time. Because I think that shows, again, not only care, but a certain respect level to people also. In this process, you're going to get objections. Let's just be right up front about that, right? So here's the thing. Don't get upset about objections. I know this takes time, and even when you're seasoned and been in it for 100 years, you're still going to have those days that you're emotional and it's going to be, you get an objection, you're going to fall apart. Get over it. But here's the thing. That's great because it shows they've got an interest and they're, asking questions, or they're throwing an objection at you. And that gives you the opportunity to then go back to them. Okay. And I call that playing ball. That's an analogy I like. If I throw the ball to Allie and she comes back, I can keep that conversation going. Now, I'm going to be really honest. There's some people you might throw the ball and they don't get back to you. For me, that's okay. I'm like, Allie, I've been called a dog with a bone before. Someone actually said to me, you're kind of like a dog with a bone. You're real nice, but you just never give up. So I just keep throwing the ball. It's like, maybe it's hitting the wall and bouncing back at me, but I am doing what I feel like I need to do. So then when I get them past that stage and now we've got them all figured out and they're going to be actually on my team, Allie asked me about getting them set up and how I started. Well, of course, we all welcome them to the groups because we want them to get that connection and feel a part of all of us. But the other thing I do, and I'm sure you all do this, you send a welcome email. And for me, I've really refined that in probably the last 6 or 8 months. I had one that was all pieced together, like, some of Allie's and some of somebody else's, and then some of my own words. And by the time I got that done, I kid you not, it was like this long, and I started feeling like it wasn't being very effective. And so I started asking people, will you be honest with me? What did you think of the email I sent? And literally people were like, oh God, it was so much. They were just like, it was too much, Cork. I quit reading it, So I knew that it wasn't working. So I've really refined that and done it almost more in a bullet point fashion and get more direct and to the point. That I think is helpful. Something I just started doing in the last couple of weeks, because sometimes you're going to find that people, even though you tell them you want them to contact you when they get their products, if you've given them so much great information, they may not call you and let you know. And even if you're sending a message, they may ignore you. So I've just started where I don't send them the information on how to take it until I know they've got their product. Then I send that to them. I've only done it with 2 people and it's working. So I don't know. I don't have the numbers on that yet, but I do think it's really important to give them all the info. And also as far as like how much I'm contacting them in that after I sign them up in that first week, I'm contacting them like every 2-3 days at the longest. And it's not about Plexus even. I'm just like, hey, I'm so excited. Or, have you taken pictures of your stuff? I mean, it's just little things to just keep them knowing that I'm thinking about them. And then once they get their product, I'm, kind of all in at that point. And some people, it might be every 3 days you talk to them for the first couple of weeks to a month. I had one gal that she's been in 3 months now, and I literally for the first 2 months pretty much talked to that woman every day, and she could not get it right. But that was my commitment. I had to give her that time. So that's just the reality. Again, that's that playing ball thing. Now, again, if I'm throwing it to Allie and, I say, take your slim for 3 days and then call me back because I want to find out how it went. If she doesn't call me back, that first month especially, I'm getting a hold of her. I don't care if she didn't call me back because I feel a responsibility to my team. I think that's part of it also, is that I feel a real responsibility to the people I bring in because I really want to help them. And in saying that, it's great that you feel responsible, but here's something else. You cannot take their responsibility. If you give them all the tools and you're trying to play the game, ball back and forth, and they don't, here's the thing. I can't take the responsibility or the accolades for their success if they get it. And I can't take the responsibility if they don't. If they aren't successful because they aren't consistent and they didn't take their products and they didn't do what I told them would help them, that's not my responsibility. As long as I do my job and do my responsibility, I feel okay about that. So I think that for me is really important. And then after that, as far as contact, everybody I try to, like on my team, I'm trying to contact even the people who maybe are a little less active or not playing ball. I contact them at least once a quarter. When you're new, you're talking to me at least once a week for the first couple, 2-3 months. And then after that, just depending on how by this time now you've built this and they'll contact you a lot more at this point. So that kind of makes it a little easier. But Allie's right, you have to have a system in place that works for you. And I think that's gonna be different for everyone. You know, Allie's got her planner, I've done spirals, I've done digital. I think just find what works for you and make it as simple as possible so that you can track back to that. The other thing I try to do when I have people that feel like they're kind of slipping away a little, I remind them of their goal. And like, that's one thing when you're checking in with them, how is your goal going? You know, is your stomach feeling better? Have you lost the weight? And if not, I'll say, well, we probably need to tweak your products. Let's try this. I want you to change that. And we're going to add this, so that you're always like, again, focusing back on them. It's always about them. Then let's see. Oh, I can finish up here. I'm really big on acronyms. I like them a lot. And one thing that I have always focused on is I think people are always looking for hope. And now more than ever, I feel like that's so true. You know, they need something to hang on to. And so my sister Tammy, some of you guys know her, her and I, she gave me this one probably 3 to 5 years ago. And we both kind of use this a lot, but it's hope. So what the acronym is helping other people excel. So when you think about hope, think about it in those terms. That's what you want to do, is help your team excel in their goals, in their lives. And so if you can think of it in those terms, maybe it makes it easier for you. And then I'm always a big person in saying that I like to work like it depends on me, because I, again, take that responsibility, but I pray like it depends on God. And so I have a little acronym for that also. And this one's called PUSH, and it's pray until something happens. Now, the thing about that one is, that's why I like to say I work like it depends on me, because you can't just sit and pray and think God's going to do it for you. You have to do the work and then he'll bless it. But you can't expect that you can't have a business if you don't expect to work. And like for me, just in ending, I really believe it's because my team knows I care about them. And some of the things you didn't ask me this, Allie, but some of the things that I do that I hope projects that to them is that I'll not just text or something like that, but I will write a little note. And sometimes if I see some at the dollar store that reminds them of them, or any store, I'll pick it up and I mail it to them just for no reason. Like one gal was just struggling with her scheduling and trying to get her products in. Well, at the beginning of the year, when the dollar store has all the little planners, I buy a few extras, and I just wrote in the first page, this is to help you get your schedule, and send it off to her. Just little things like that, so that they know they're thought about and cared for. I'm going to shut up because I probably went over.
No, you're good. That was so awesome, Corky. There are so many little nuggets in there, you guys. I hope that you pulled out some pieces of that maybe you can improve in your business. I know there's a few things that I need to do better with, and just putting a personal touch in your business and being patient with people and giving them your time, and absolutely showing them that you care for them, and that your job isn't done until you've helped them get a result. Yep. Your job isn't done when they enroll. Your job, honestly, it's never done if they're, if they're on your team. We're all adjusting our products all the time. I'm doing it all the time, moving stuff around. I'm trying new things. I'm working with this. Sometimes it's just a new lean recipe because I'm sick of the one, right? And it could be as little as that, but you would never know about the things that they need adjustment with unless you're spending time talking to them. You can't let a week and a half go by and turns out they weren't taking their Slim, or they've been forgetting their Probio 5, or they really don't like lean, or which is not that many people don't like lean, so that was a terrible example, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you need to be talking to them and asking them questions and understanding what's going on in their life and caring about them, and showing them that you are interested in their success. And until you've gotten them some big result, your job isn't done. And in my opinion, your job's really never done. But I also love that you said you cannot be responsible for their success. It's totally our job to give them everything that we can to be successful, but you cannot take responsibility for someone else's success. I mean, if you see that a lot of your ambassadors or customers are quitting really early, then take a look at what you're doing to set them up for success, right? And if you've done everything you can, that's a little bit different. But if you are going long stints of time without speaking to them, if you're not asking them a lot of questions, if you're not really getting to know their life and what's going on in it, just look at those things. Look at it from all angles. If you're not revisiting their goals every so often and their product regimen, introducing new products to them, recommending new stuff, if you're not doing those things, then it's time to adjust maybe what you're doing. And so hopefully that some of the things that Corky said can help you have better retention on your teams, but also show your potential so that you care, and really build those relationships and develop that trust, because those are the people that if they're not ready now, when they're ready, they're going to know they're going to come back to you, because you're the person that took the time to care about them and ask about their life. And you're the one that they came to like spill everything that they were dealing with. And so they have a bond with you now. And that's really important. So asking all those questions is important. So when someone just says, hey, what's Plexus? And you say, it's a health and wellness company. Do you want more info? Like, that's not relationship building. That's sales, right? Which is fine. We're in sales. We sell products. If you haven't, accepted that, you're in sales. So go ahead and accept that right now. But the thing is, it's all about relationship building. And so, they're just going to move on to the next person if you're not consistent in building that relationship. And
can I say one more thing, Allie?
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to say is you can do all the things right, and it may not get you the result you want. And, again, early on, that may be heartbreaking and it may hurt your heart. But as you go through this, you start to get a thicker skin. And I guess the one thing I'd like to say, and again, people may not agree with this, but I feel like if you get so hung up on one person that isn't signing up or that didn't sign up and maybe went with someone else after you put in all this time, and then they move away and they sign with the neighbor lady after you put in all the work, that can be hard. But the reality is that if you're getting hung up on that one person and you think that's going to make or break your business, you're kind of in trouble already. So just try and keep that funnel filling and not get hung up on that one person, because it's actually more tormenting and hurtful for you and your business than it is to them, because they've just moved on.
Totally. That's happened to me 3 times, by the way, in my career. I know it's happened to Corky too. It will probably happen to you if it has not happened already. We put in a lot of time and effort answering questions and doing all of the things. And then they're going to go to the grocery store and the checker lady is going to say, hey, I do Plexus, and give her a sample of Slim, and she's going to sign up with the checker lady that she's never talked to before. But you did all this work for months, right? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Yeah. And let it slide off your back. Other people's decisions are not your fault. Okay. So you just do your job. And that's the important part, and doing the things and being consistent, because there's going to be more people. There's more fish in the sea. There's more potentials to date. I promise. 4.5 years later, there's a ton. And so, consistency is important. Relationship building is important. Follow-up is important. All of that is so, so important. And I can't wait for you to hear from Bree. I know she's she's nursing a little baby right now. She just had her 4th baby. And she just promoted to gold, which is so exciting. Yay. Congratulations, Bree. She just promoted to being a gold ambassador, and she just had her 4th little baby, and she is the busiest mama doing all the things for her kids. And obviously she's got a newborn that she's nursing right now. And she's got a rock star, Melissa, on her team, who's on this call, who just went super silver and is well on her way to gold. And their team is just on fire. And I think that Bree not only cares for people really well, builds really strong relationships with people, really loves on people well, and is patient with them. But she's so good about realizing what's important and what's not important. I feel like I've seen her kind of work, and Bree, I don't know if I've ever even told you this, but I admire the way that she works. She's so patient and kind and just does the things that need to be done and doesn't stress about the things that don't need to get done. And I think that she is going to do a really great job of sharing with us how she's been able to fit Plexus into her super busy life right now, promote to gold in the midst of having a newborn and having 3 other kiddos at home. She's got a busy household. She's got a lot going on, but her business is still moving forward. And I think it's because she's got kind of a little bit of a plan of what she needs to get done. And she's making sure that the big important things get done. And I love that she asks for help when she needs help, you guys. And I love talking to her all the time. And I love talking to Melissa, who's on our team all the time, because reach out for help when you need it. Our team is here to help you, and do the important things that need to get done and don't do the things that don't, but make time for what matters. And so she's going to share a little bit of her story because it's really inspiring. And I love her health transformation as well as what this opportunity has done for her, and kind of the, I don't know, all the great things that she's found in Plexus. And I want her to give us some little tips on how she's making it work right now. And I know our lives are all insanity right now with the pandemic, but I'm just in awe of what she's done and how graceful she is, and just what an amazing little worker bee she is, and mom she is, and friend she is, and leader, and all that. So Bree, you can go ahead whenever you're ready. Hold on. I unmuted you already. Oh no, I can't hear you. Sorry, hold on. I can't hear you. Can you talk? Oh no, she's frozen. Shoot. I'm so excited for her to talk to you. She's somebody who asks a lot of questions in the best way. When she, things that I know she needs help with. I love that. You guys, if you ever say, I'm sorry for asking so many questions, don't be ever sorry for asking questions. Ever, 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 ever. She's been one of my favorite people to work with, because she's always I need to find this. I looked for it and I couldn't find this. Or I have this answer for this, but I need to adjust it in this way. Or I had someone ask me about this and I think I should recommend this, but I would love a second opinion. Those are the people that are doing so well in this business, because they are making sure that they check all their boxes, and they're reaching out to leadership, and they are learning as they go, and they're honing in their skill along the way. And so Bree is one of those people who comes to me for things and asks questions, and really has honed in her craft and is killing it. She's doing so well because she's gotten so good that now she's gotten just really seamless in the way she does her business and how she loves on people. But okay, are you back? Yeah. Say something now. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Okay. Yay, go ahead.
Okay, so first, super emotional mom here, and you're gonna make me cry. Thank you for everything. I also want to say that you are so right about Melissa. She is doing amazing. I don't even know how to say it. And I, right as this call was starting, just signed my 6th person, so I'm super excited about it.
Yay! Congrats.
I gotta take the baby off. So a little bit of my story to start out. I was probably looking into Plexus for 6 months to a year before I even started. I was why would I even start it? But I was having endometriosis symptoms really bad. I've been to the emergency room for migraines, just all these different things I was dealing with. My anxiety was horrible. I cried all the time, every day. I did not have energy to work out. I didn't have energy to do anything. I saw one of my friends talking about it, and it took me, like I said, 6 months to even be okay, let's do it. 3 months after starting, my endometriosis, all my symptoms were pretty much gone. I wasn't crying anymore. It was December, and I had lost weight over the holidays. Just so crazy. Everything, I was just unbelievable. I was still so skeptical that I did not believe that it was Plexus that was helping me. It took me a while. took me a while to actually be like, okay, like this is it. This is what's working. I think it was like, oh, sorry. I think it was like 6 or so months after I started that I was finally like, okay, this is it. And I wasn't sharing with anybody. I wasn't starting the business. I kind of told some family about it. Once I really started realizing like what it was doing for me is when I started sharing my own story more. And that's when the business kind of started itself for me. I mean, of course, like who doesn't want to make extra money? I was already working with like Beachbody and Pampered Chef and Young Living and all these other companies that I loved, but they weren't helping my life like I was needing them to or wanting them to. And so hearing about Plexus and the things that the company does and how it rewards its ambassadors and its workers, and it's just so different. It's so different. And it really just kind of took off on its own for me. Like I said, I wasn't interested in the business part of it. So just sharing my own story, I didn't ask anybody if they wanted to join. I didn't do anything. I had all these people coming to me. And it probably wasn't until like a year after I'd been taking the supplements that I started actually posting about it. And then people just like, they like flocked to me, like so many people. And that's, I mean, even right now, like talking about fitting it all in and what I do to make it work. Sometimes it's consistent, like Ali, you say all the time, like you have to be consistent with everything and do all these things. And a lot of the times it is like that. And I'm constantly, messaging the people that I already have conversations with. I have never once messaged anybody that I have never talked to Plexus about before. I know that's something that like a lot of people like to do, and that's something that works a lot. That is not something I've ever done. It's always been people that have shown interest. And when you're saying, I don't worry about the things that, I don't like rush it, I don't like worry about the things that don't need to be worried about. I just kind of let people know, like I answer their questions, and then I kind of leave it at that for a while. I'll message them back and, ask how they're doing, but I just don't ever, like, not that I've like felt like any of you guys are pushy or anything, but from my previous places that I've worked, like with certain cooking companies, it's very, very pushy and it's uncomfortable. And I think that that's what I like about this. And that's what helps me be successful in it. As far as honestly, Ali, when you were like, tell us, like how you fit it all in and give us some tips. And I was like, I don't even know. I just, I do it when I can, but I don't stress about it. And I think that's one of the biggest things is if I can't answer these 5 people's questions right now, then that's fine. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to, I do still feel that like sense of urgency, but I remind myself like, what is the most important thing for me right now? And that is to focus on my kids. That is to, do our homeschooling, because I homeschool my kids too. And that was like, how am I supposed to do a business and homeschool at the same time? But you just make it work. You take, while they're eating, you go through and you do it really quick. Before I go to bed, or, if I like go to the bathroom by myself, I will do it when I can. And when I have a free hand nursing, I'm like, scrolling through and trying to make contact with people and do different things. And I've had success with both. I've had success with, being consistent over weeks and months and messaging people. And then I'll go for a while, and like Ali and I have talked about this, it will be such a struggle for me to even post anything on social media. anything at all. And I go through these waves where I'm just like, I just don't want to be on it. I don't want to be on my phone. But I'll get back on it after, a couple weeks or so, and I will post something personal. I will post something about Plexus, and then bam, I get like 5 people in my inbox. So it's been really actually inconsistent, I feel like, but it has to be what works for you. Like what Corky was saying, you have to find something that works for your lifestyle. For a lot of people, they could be single or like have no kids or whatever. Like you can sit there and you can focus on it for an hour. I don't have that. So my business literally gets worked like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Maybe if I stay up late, I'll get a whole half hour or an hour. But a lot of times I just want to go to sleep. So it's really just all over the place for me. I don't know if that's really like giving tips and advice, but you really just have to find what works for your lifestyle. It could just take 5 minutes a day. That's one thing that I have kept up on. Post something about Plexus at least once a day, just to get it out there. And if it's not Plexus, a big thing I like to do that I felt like has brought a lot of people in is just talk about health in general, like little health tips here and there, about like water consumption or like what your body does when it absorbs this type of vitamin, or I think that it shows people that you're not just focused on the products, and it's like proof that you actually do care about health in general. It's not all, because it's not all about Plexus. It is about food, and it is about water intake and other things that you need to do for yourself. So I think that is really important too, for people to see not just Plexus, but other health things that you talk about, as well as your personal life and how busy you are and things like that. Let's see what else I'm supposed to talk about. I think that for everybody, like I said, it's different. You have to find what works for you. And that goes into how everyone's why is different. My why is different from so many other people's. And it's different from when I started. My why at the start was just getting my health back, trying to be or feel normal again. Specifically with endometriosis, I would be curled in a ball on the floor crying, not able to move. And they told me, birth control or surgery, and that wasn't good enough for me. So that was my why when I started. And it has turned into more financial because I'm actually seeing the benefits of the business finally. After 2 years for me, I feel like it's finally at that point. And so my why now is, it's always been my family, but helping financially. And like right now, I got a car that fits my whole family now, finally. We're about to buy property and get a house and all this stuff. And every dollar that I can make to help my family financially is getting us step closer to that, one step closer. And whether it's, if my specific money is used for fun things or groceries or whatever, it is still helping so much. And so it just means so much to me to be where I'm at right now. And I'm actually seeing it help my family. And it's just a huge blessing. If you would have asked me 2 years ago, like where I would have been with this business, I didn't think I would be here. And I know Allie can vouch for this too. It took me forever to get to gold. I feel like it took me months. I was like, so close, so close. And I'm finally here, and it's amazing. It's awesome. And I think that helps out my why a little bit and my motivation a little bit too. Just to see that. And Melissa helped me a ton as well. I don't think any of this would have been possible without Melissa or Allie. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just really thankful.
That's so awesome. And I hope that you guys, I hope that you notice two things about Bree, sorry. I was looking at Brittany's name on my messenger that just came. Do you guys hear that ding right before that I started talking? That was a Brittany ding. Sorry about Bree. So first, she has really strong relationships with people. That's why when she shares things, people listen. People listen to her because she's a great friend. She's a great mom. You know, she's a great sister, cousin, wife, all the things, right? And she's so kind, and you can hear it in her heart and the way that she speaks, that she's so loving. She's a loving, caring, patient, kind person. And that is the type of thing that is really hard to communicate over social media. But we do our best to form those relationships and form that sense of community online, even when we can't, like right now in a pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And so I hope that you hear that about her and know that when people start this business, they're all coming from a different place. I came from a different place than each one of you guys. And so people are going to have different levels of success according to what kind of relationships they've been building for their entire life up to that point. So if you're not someone who posts one thing on social media and everyone comes flocking to you, don't feel bad because you just have a different network, right? And we have people on this very team that had no social media before they even started, and they had to figure out how to build that network. And so everyone comes at this from different angles, but I want you to see how valuable that it can be coming from a place of just caring and patience and kindness, and not pushy salesmanship. Because I think Bree has seen both sides of that, and she's doing such a good job with just being the loving friend that she is, and to everybody, and having that patience with people. When they're ready, and she's so thoughtful. And I hope you also see how present she makes sure she is in the areas of her life that matter the most. She's present with her kids when she needs to have family time. She's present when she needs to be their homeschooling mom. But then when she knows she needs to take 5 minutes and follow up with those people that got their sample today, she does it, right? She does it. And so I want to make sure that you see that, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to spend 2 hours of IPAs or none at all. Okay. And I hope you see that too. And so there's just those little pieces that I wanted you to kind of pull out of that, because she's somebody who we have a degree of separation. Her sponsor is no longer active. And so Bree is kind of like a next level, took her under my wing kind of, she's kind of my adopted level one. And so she's somebody who I formed a relationship with just because she joined our team, and we kind of like knew of each other, like kind of in the same like sort of like circles, but we were never friends. And then when she joined, then there was like this degree of separation, but her sponsor is no longer active. And so I kind of took her in, which I recommend you do with everybody who joins your team. Form connections with everyone on your team, no matter what level they are to you, because that's really important for both the longevity of your team, but that you could help someone else find the opportunity as well that maybe you wouldn't have had access to them before. And so that's like a blessing too of, you know, these level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, right? And so I kind of started to see that she was somebody with all these positive qualities, and she was having amazing health results. And it's like, she started talking about it naturally with people, and people started joining her. And I'm like, you have this natural connection with people. You naturally have built strong relationships because of the person that you are. And so she's had so much success because she's a great person to begin with, but it's like, you have to remember that the relationship is really important there, and that is going to be really powerful for you to build your business. But also the piece of doing a little every day is really important, because it's what's going to give your business longevity. And even if it is just posting, like she said, something about plexus every day, because social media is the front door of your business. If it's not open, nobody's coming, right? So if you're not posting, your doors to your business are not open. And so I think that is important. And just doing the time sensitive things is important. But you know what? There's no emergencies in Plexus. Like nobody's dying. Okay. If your person is trying their sample and they have a question about one of the ingredients, like you don't have to drop everything and stop your kids and pull over on the side of the road and answer the question. Okay. It's okay. Like answer it when you get in bed tonight, you know, text your sponsor and ask her the answer and, you know, whatever. Right. And so I think that's important too. And yeah, what?
I think that through everything, and this is like something I try to instill in my kids too, no matter what you are doing, it is important to be yourself and do it your own way. And I think that I learned that through working with some other businesses where I would try and like just copy everything that my upline was doing. And, you know, obviously we like copy and paste everything too, but you have to make it your own. And I think that that's what draws more people into you, because they don't feel like you're being fake, you know, like I'm already one person in person. I want to be that same person on social media, and I want to be that same person throughout my business. And I've had people come and tell me that too, like, well, I went with you because you don't seem fake. Like you seem like you'll tell me the truth. And, you know, your business side of social media seems like the same as I meet you in person, or, you know, see your personal life on social media. So that's just one thing I think is super, super important, is like, just through all of it, have your own flair and be your own person when you're talking. And of course, like I said, we all use the copy and paste, but when you're actually talking to people and when you're making your posts, be genuine, because if people sense like a touch of fakeness from you, it's totally going to turn them off. And I just want to say that I think it's really, really important to just be yourself no matter what.
Absolutely. Always go through any like post information and make sure it sounds like something you would say. If it doesn't, fix it. But also show your face. Show your face on social media. And it doesn't need to be a perfect face. It doesn't need to be a perfect curated model photo shoot picture. People don't really want to see that anyway. People stop their scroll a lot more for a real picture of you with a messy house, nursing your baby with no makeup on and a top knot, than they are going to be with some perfect image with you in perfect clothing and your makeup done and all the things, right, with perfect lighting. Like, they're going to stop a lot more for the natural you than they are for the perfect you. And so just remember that, and finding the ways to work your business that work for your life are important. And don't lose sight of the things that are really important to you and your family. But know that every little bit can move your family in a positive direction financially, but also, you know, in your health, obviously. But it's worth it to spend just a few minutes a day here and there, if that's all you can do, to get some posts out, follow up with a couple people, and shoot a couple messages out. Like, it's not that hard. And I think it's taking the time to do it, even if it's 10 minutes, is important. That's what's important. It's not saying, oh, I'll do it when I have time, and letting time get away from you. It's making the time, even if it's 5-10 minutes, to check things off that are the most time sensitive. And I mean, I built my business all the way to Emerald, and later with home with my kid all day long with no childcare or anything, like all the way to Emerald. Like, I had zero help ever. And so I think it's important to just look at the time you have and realize your time management could be lacking, right? Or your organization could be lacking, or maybe there's some insincerity there where you're like, I need to find my voice a little bit, right? And you can work with your team, work with your sponsor, and really, chat with all of us and reach out if you need help. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If you're wasting a bunch of time finding posts or finding information or finding a welcome pack or something, like, ask for help, right? Like, work smarter, not harder, right? That's why we're all here. And so that's one of the things Bree does really well. I mean, I love all the questions. Like, ask me questions, right? Like, I don't want you to waste your precious time doing things that we have a team full of people that know the answer to already. Okay.
Yeah, so, I don't have time for that.
Right. Yeah. Like, nobody's got time for that. So, like, let go of your ego, get off your high horse if you think you need to know all the things and find all the things yourself. Like, stop that, because you don't. Like, we all have come before you and all the things. So Anyway, I hope you guys got some good information out of today's call because I thought it was really valuable. And thank you, Corky, and thank you, Bree, for chatting. I know you're busy, and I know that you're busy with your little baby. So cute. We'll have another one of these next week. So I'll let you know who we're going to be featuring next week. Anybody have any questions before I go? Sorry. Anything? I feel like you guys did such a good job. Anyway. Okay. Awesome, guys. We'll chat next week. End the month strong. Bye.
Bye.